This is the Deronda G400. It was made by Autosport Development, I believe, and there was another company called Sirius that got involved. And this particular one was assembled in Trenton, Michigan in 2008. This is a recent acquisition for me, and the prior owner told me that it weighed about 1,890 pounds. It's got a lot of carbon fiber on it. The body pieces are like a composite fiberglass material, so it's all very light. As you can see, it's got custom brakes that have the Deronda logo right on them, if you want to take a look at those. And that's the name of the car, Deronda. And then you can see the carbon fiber fenders and get a good look at the chassis. The chassis is tubular, chrome moly, and it is very, very sturdy. You jack up any part of the car, you're going to get 2, maybe 3 wheels up in the air. Very sturdy. It's got double tube frame actually protecting the driver from side impacts. It's got a crumple zone in the front. You can't really see it right now. One thing I really like about the car is the windshield. I like the look, and I like the fact that you're sitting below the top of the windshield, so you can drive it with a hat on, and your hat's not going to blow away. The other prominent feature of the car is the shark nose. Maybe from the side profile here, you see the shark nose. The shark nose is from the 1961 Formula One Ferrari that won the World Championship with Phil Hill driving. So it's a 1961 Formula One World Championship design. Unfortunately, those cars were destroyed, but the designer of this car elected to put a shark nose on it, and it gives it some style. I did discover that the pattern that's used for the grill work, you see the grill work over the front suspension, that grill work looks very much like the Formula One car in 1961. They put the same shape and grill work over the air intakes for the Ferrari engine, which I believe was a V6 Dino at that time. The suspension has Öhlins shocks and springs inboard via bell crank to operate the front suspension. And right now the wheels are like 8.5 front and 9.5 in the rear. They're all 18-inch. It's got headlights. You can see the low beams down there by the shark nose, and then up by the windshield you can see the high beam that has a better angle on the road. The logo on the car on the very front nose, and it's also on the headrest for the seats, appears to be the Holy Trinity. The suspension is pretty much completely adjustable, and it's race style. You can see all the suspension components are wing shaped. The upper and lower A-arms are aerodynamically designed just like current state-of-the-art race cars. You can't see it, but there's a fire bottle in the nose in case you have a fire, and a handle on the dash to pull to put out the fire. And then I have a secondary fire extinguisher as well. seeing there, it's got the Element fire extinguisher with the yellow caps on it. Can't vouch for that, haven't had to use it yet, hope I never do. It actually has air vents to cool you off when you're driving, and they're right here. They're very small. Right now they're open, and that's all the opening you get. So on a hot day, yes, you will get hot. And what I like is I'm up in a northern climate, so with the coolant running down the middle of the chassis, it actually warms you up in the morning. So on cold mornings, like going to Cars and Coffee, it starts at 7:30. The car warms you up pretty nice. Staying warm, not a problem. On the inside, it's just got some fiberglass bucket seats for you. I put a pad on that one, which is like luxury. It really feels good. You got two 5-point harnesses on it. I always run a radar detector and a rear view mirror. It's got an instrument pod. The turn signals are on the steering wheel. You can see a green button and a blue button. They're not self-canceling, but there are indicators straight in front of you to show you when they're blinking, and there's also a horn button on the wheel. It's a functionally complete legal car with lights and wipers and four-way flashers and turn signals and brake lights. It's got all that stuff. It's a Michigan assembled vehicle officially. It's got a Michigan assembled vehicle tag on it with an assigned number. Okay, the shifter it's a cable shifter to a Porsche G50 transaxle, and it actually works very well. I'm very impressed with the cable shifting. It's really nice. I was worried about that in a mid-engine car, but it actually works very well. Go around that. The tail lights are rather unique. It's like got a different light for every function. Brake lights, turn signals, parking lights, and backup lights, all kind of separated. Okay, so it's powered by a Chevy LS2. Probably out of Generation 6 Corvette, I believe. It should be, as it was rated from the factory, 400 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. It's probably got pretty good air intake, and the exhaust system's shorter than in a Corvette, so it's probably 400 plus. There is gobs and gobs of torque. This thing is a torque monster. The throttle response is the most immediate of any car that I've ever driven, and I used to race Cobra race cars, two-seater roadsters. You can see the inboard shock spring arrangement for the suspension, and you can see the cable shift mechanism and the Porsche G50 transaxle mated to this LS2 engine. It works out, and you can also see how strong this chassis is. I mean, lots of reinforcement rails. One thing that impresses me is even the back end, which you think would be open and flexible on top. There's 3 separate crossbars reinforcing the chassis going all the way across. Actually, I guess the top, there's actually 4. So it is very sturdy, very strong. And I like the fact that it's all GM components that I can easily find to replace things. I haven't had it that long. I've replaced the rear wheel bearings and wheel bearing nuts, done some alignments on it, and driven it and enjoyed it and taken it to car shows. This year it's already been invited to 2 Concours d'Elegance events, one in Cincinnati and one up in Grosse Pointe. So I'm looking forward to taking it to those. I was surprised at how many people are really interested in the car, even at the Concours level. The class that it would be in is called Track Toys, which I think is appropriate. The engine still has catalytic converters on it, and to the best of my knowledge would still meet emissions because it's a stock engine with catalytic converters. The thing about this car is it is very, very fast. It handles very well, it brakes phenomenally, and that's because of the light weight. But one thing I really like about it is the V8 sound. It's differentiated from the 4 cylinders, especially turbo 4s, which I don't care for the sound of those. But big V8, naturally aspirated engine, pretty good sound.